Jay, an extraordinary game, obviously affected by wind to a certain extent, but I'm sure at 3-0 up you would have hoped to get the 3 points at half-time, that is to say.
I would expect to. I don't know about hoped. I think defensively the alarm bells were probably there in the first 5 minutes. Straight ball, straight through the middle. Defensively we wasn't good enough today, and that's probably been the story of a lot of the season. Individually, every week we get people making mistakes or not quite at it, and it's frustrating because I said last week both boxes we've probably not been at it. Today, to be fair to the front lads and midfield lads, but first half especially, we worked on a lot this week on how we felt we could hurt them, and I think you'll see all 3 goals are similar goals which we've worked on, which is pleasing. But you shouldn't need to score 3 goals at home to get a point. You should be winning games of football, and disappointing is an understatement.
I suppose, in a sense, that the writing was on the wall when they got their first goal back so quickly after the break. I mean, you need to steady the ship at that point. Obviously, we knew they covered us with the wind in their favour. You just need to steady the ship for a bit. But suddenly, 3-1, and it doesn't look quite such a commanding scoreline.
No, it don't. It should still be enough to win a game. At that point, when you go 3-1, I look at body language, I look at characters, and some of them went missing a little bit. It's a great strike, let's get it right for the first one. Wind assisted, I think the lads hit it, but it's flew in like a bullet. And then at that point, you then need people to be strong mentally, get on the ball, still want to get on the ball, which we did first half. And then you're looking, and all of a sudden people trying to go in their shell a little bit. And I think that tells you a little bit about characters sometimes. I think when you're on the back of 3 defeats, I kind of get it. You understand that they go into their shell a little bit. But we've got enough boys in there to deal with that. And then the second goal is the killer, really. I mean, he should never be allowed on the edge of our box.
It looked a great turn from his perspective.
But if you're allowed him out, he shouldn't be allowed to turn on the edge of our box. And it's weird. I look forward to seeing it back, although I shouldn't. I will look forward to seeing it back because I need to see why he's allowed to do that. We don't often get chances to turn on the edge of our box. So either centre half, centre mid, whatever it is, we need to look at that. And it's a problem. And Johnny's had a good game today, and I feel sorry for him. He's had to pick the ball out of the net 3 times. The third one, Swifty, I don't know what he's doing. He gets turned, and the lad runs straight through the middle. And it's again, as he turns Swifty, we got to narrow up and force wide, and we didn't do it. And I think at that point a couple of them had gone a little bit, and that's disappointing. But look, I looked at the table before the game, and even at half time I was just seeing how results were going, and we were the only team in the top 12 with a minus goal difference. And that says it all, really, and that's why we are where we are. We've scored enough goals. I think we've scored as many or more goals than some scored all last season. On the flip side, defensively this year we've been a shambles, and it's something we really have to work on.
Greenwich, he scored a brace, done really well in many respects, but is a player who, I think from the supporters' point of view, we're still not quite sure about. How good is he, and is there more to his game?
I think it's harsh on him. Like he's been here just over a month, and he's probably got 8 goals or something like that.
Exactly.
He's not the finished article. He's 22, 23. Yeah. If he was the finished article, we wouldn't be playing at this level. We wouldn't be able to afford him.
Well, that's the answer we're looking for.
We're working on him, and to be fair to the lad, he's taking things on board. We've worked on his movement in the box. He's took that on board today. He wants to learn. He's a good kid. He's not a finished article, otherwise he wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. But these lads, I think we've got a few like that. You look at Jack Wood. He's a young lad, hasn't played loads of games at senior football. And we have got lads like that. We as a club at the moment probably can't afford to go out and get the lads that have got double figures in this league. So we get the next best that we think we can, and Jordan's someone that we're enjoying working with. He was in the right place at the right time today to get 2 goals.
Yes.
And if he does that every week, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see Joe back starting. He started last week as well, and Ruben, he's getting more minutes. So it's not all bad news, is it, by any means?
No, it just feels like defeat, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's be honest. After 3 defeats, anyone would tell you as a manager, you kind of just want to break that cycle. So if you nick a draw, it breaks that 3 defeats. But it feels like a defeat. There's no doubt about it. We've set the boys targets over the next 5 games with what we've got coming up, and it kind of makes it a little bit harder to reach that what we want to reach. But it's not through lack of effort for the boys. It's not through. It's just individually we're making mistakes and they're costing us.
Sure.
And that's something we've got to look at. As I say, we've worked hard this week on making sure we take our chances when they arise. We've done that, but it's just a blow. Look, if you draw 1-1 during the game, it's fine. But when you're 3-0 up, it feels like a defeat, and it hurts a lot. And it probably. But what I've got to do is I'm the sort of manager and the sort of person that can't accept it. So if I feel I need to make changes, and I feel I'll get people that don't make individual mistakes, or at least not as often.
Sure.
And that's not a threat. I just said to the boys in there, that's just facts. That's how I work. I want to kick on. I don't just want the season to finish and be mid-table and this and that. I want to get as high as we can, and it's something we look at doing.
Sure. We've got a friendly at home here against Ashford United on Tuesday. What can we expect from that in terms of personnel on the pitch? We're going to see some trialists, perhaps? Or
possibly, yeah. We're the likes of Parky, Joe Tyree, Faggy, who I thought come on and done well when he come on short spurs on Faggy,
Sure.
Ruben, Louis Collins, because he's been ill, Craig missed the day due to sort of personal reasons, we had to change it. People like this need games, so we'll have a strong side out.
Okay.
On top of that, maybe 1 or 2 of the academy boys that are doing well. And yeah, we've got someone that's been training with us that we've been really impressed with that we'll have a run out. So yeah, but that's the idea of it. Tommy's been good enough to come down, and we'll it will serve its purpose. We need to, if we try to get the Gillingham Kent Cup game moved forward, they're not willing to play it. So it's kind of one of those where we needed a competitive game, and I know Tommy will come down with a decent side, and it'll be worthwhile to get minutes in them boys.
Yeah, definitely. And justifiable to get in for adults and less for kids, by the way.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice for Tommy to see a few old faces.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine. I'm glad he's coming down, so he'll give us a good competitive game.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much indeed, Joe.
Cheers, Jim.
Bad luck today. Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.